we would have been shocked if we hadn't won the game from 24-6 up. We'd have been. Yeah, we'd have been shocked if we hadn't gone on to win the game. I mean, there was still a lot of time left in the game, so it wasn't out of the question. But
there was plenty of time left in the game, but I haven't written that many notes for the rest of the game because it felt like St Helens didn't really do anything. Not in a bad way, but didn't do anything.
No, we didn't.
You don't need to win a game twice, do you?
No, we played exactly. We won the game. We played the sets out. We kicked it deep. We defended their end. We didn't make mistakes. So it was like, yeah, we're just going to control it from here. And Leeds, credit to Leeds again. They got, took even bigger risks. Made some sort of desperate plays. I personally, and I know this sounds a bit whingy, but I think their last try had a massive fucking obstruction in it.
Well, so did. You could argue that Lomax. If Tetevano had have gone for Welsby when he ran past Lomax, that would have been chalked off as well, wouldn't it, the Percival try?
Yeah, probably, yeah. Because
even Welsby himself said he thought there was an obstruction.
Yeah, Welsby went round the man and then kicked it through. So that could have been an obstruction. You're right, that could have been an obstruction as well. And then on Leeds' last try, which Martin scored, Bentley got on to Matauti's outside shoulder, which is what created the gap that Martin went through. But to be fair, Leeds deserved it because they were trying everything to get themselves back in the game, and they didn't. The good thing was they didn't let the game completely run away with it.
At 71 minutes though, that try, I thought it was well worked, but that try came too late. Really, maybe it would have caused you guys more worry if Martin had been able to squeeze the ball down on the chance he'd had a couple of minutes earlier when he was held up in goal.
Yeah. But it's the combination of time and point, isn't it? So obviously, the earlier you can get yourself onto the scoreboard when chasing a game up like that, the more chance you've got of putting some pressure on the opposition team. But it came too late, really.
Yeah. Lomax tried to be disrespectful but hit the post. Then Tommy Makinson was incredibly disrespectful by running the ball unnecessarily towards the Leeds fans and throwing it into the Leeds fans at the final hoot. I don't know if he had a concept of where he was going and what he was doing and that it was the Leeds end. I don't know. I think he probably did. But that didn't make him any friends in Leeds, so I expect him to get booed now by their fans when he's on England duty because that's how fucking petty they are. But I'm surprised that he didn't get any comeuppance for it, if I'm honest. It did seem insightful and unnecessary.
It was unnecessary. I mean, I've seen plenty of players do it to us over the years. I've never liked it when it's been done.
And when it's done, when it's in front of you and that's where the play is, that's one thing. But when it's been done by a player running 40 metres to do it, it's kind of worse, isn't it?
As a Saints fan, we obviously loved it, Mark. But I can understand that having happened to us a few times. I can remember Gareth Hock doing it to us once. I didn't like it at the time. So I
remember the 2014 Grand Final. Makinson scored that winning try, didn't he? That gloriously fucking scrappy try that you scored in a performance of zero attacking prowess.
Yes,
but
that one.
That was quite close to the end of the game, close-ish to the end of the game anyway. That was in front of the Wigan end, so the celebrations being in front of the Wigan fans, even though it pissed all the Wigan fans off, was totally understandable. This was different.
Yeah, I think it wasn't in the Wigan end anyway, that one, I think, Mark. It was at the Saints end.
No, it was at the Wigan end, wasn't it?
No, it was at the Saints end, mate. I was there. When he scored down, it was at the.
Oh, it was, weren't it? It was, yeah, because we were attacking the other way in the first half, yeah.
Exactly.
Of course,
so it was fine that. No, that was disrespectful. I don't think we should.
I must be thinking about another try then. But anyway, there was a try. Yeah, it's happened before, like you say, in other games by other people at different times of the match.
Yeah, I don't think we should make a big deal of it. It was a good game. It was.
So what about the post-match? Because one thing I thought was very noticeable, maybe it's because I was feeling a bit poorly and also not exactly enjoying the fact that you guys had won again. But
again.
It felt like a very long post-match.
It went on forever.
But it felt like the Saints fans stayed in for a long time as well, which I think is really cool. I think that's, really good and helps to build more memories and sharing that experience and that sort of thing. So how was it like, once Tommy Makinson had turned up at the right end of the field and, you had a trophy and everything was going on in front of you all, what was that like?
That was good fun. I mean, obviously, you can imagine it was good fun. I mean, I always find these things less joyous than I imagine I'm going to, because I've put a lot of emotional energy into the game.
Yeah.
So I'm usually coming down by that stage. But it was good fun. There was lots of, Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook's always entertaining. Connie Hurrell is very entertaining after a game.
Did you see the interviews where he starts singing his own song?
Yes. I also saw him pick the chairman up again and carry him round the field. And it was good to see Christian quite late in the day come over and lift the trophy. Obviously, his last act there as a Saints coach, and he's done a remarkable job for us with a great group of guys, but he's done a remarkable job for Saints. It was also interesting to watch Wello, who was just kind of stood to one side a little bit and watching what was going on. He wasn't really getting involved in what was happening, but he was kind of taking it all in. As a player, he was a big celebrator at
yeah, he was.
But not on this occasion. He just kind of leant up against the post a little bit and was watching what was going on. So we'll see what happens next with Paul, as obviously all the rumours are anyway that he's going to be taking over as coach.
It seemed like it went beyond rumours post match. It seemed like it was basically a formality. So I think that's the expectation. It's been the expectation for a while, but it seemed like it was, Brian Carney was basically goading everyone into confirming it, and Mark Percival was the only person stupid enough to almost confirm it.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is part of the course, what you'd expect.
Of the course with Percy, yeah.
Well, looping it back round to the first fan review then that we talked about, the one from Mike, and talking about Christian Wolf there. He didn't win Coach of the Year in the Super League Awards, and I think we'll talk about this more when we do our awards show and award who his Coach of the Year for the SLP Awards. But Christian Wolf is on that shortlist, and he has received some votes already, as have some of the other people on the shortlist. But I think, in a way, this year he's probably done as good a job as he's done in any of the years with this Saints side, yet is a little bit unfortunate that there's a couple of other coaches out there that have had absolutely remarkable turnarounds with their sides.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think it'll be interesting. Obviously, I hope Wello comes in and just Wolf left off, and without missing a beat. But if he doesn't, I think that might tell us more about how good a coach Wolf is. Someone mentioned before in the comments that only 6 of this team were in the team that won it in 2019, and so I don't think this is the best team Saints have had. I still think that was 2006.
I think 2006 is the benchmark. That team won a treble.
I thought that was a remarkable team. I think what we have got here is probably the most consistent team Saints have had, at winning the championship. We've never won 4 in a row, I don't think, at any stage in our history. No. And so what we have...
You've lost 4 in a row.
Oh, yeah. Don't I know it? 5.
Yeah.
So I think what we have got is a group, not just of players, but of coaches and management staff that have formed an absolute core that have been the bedrock of the success, not just the team, as it were. So yes, Wolf, but also Holbrook before him, and Wellens, who's been around all that time, and then a group of players like Lomax and Percival and Makinson and Walmsley and Roby, that have been absolutely, right in the middle of all of that.
I think that's one of the things that's made this achievement so remarkable is, to my mind, Saints have played probably the best 2 performances that I've seen from Saints since Good Friday in the last 2 games, and that's been done without Walmsley both times, which I think was the biggest question mark over St Helens, is could they win big matches, or even any match, because you lost to Toulouse earlier in the season, pretty much just without Walmsley, but without Walmsley. And so I think that's been remarkable. The other thing to talk about is player of the match. It went to Johnny Lomax. There was some other contenders. Matty Lees was very strong, played a lot of minutes, worked really hard, and to be fair to him, didn't give too many high shots away either. Jack Wellsby set up a few tries, particularly those 2 with the kicks. I think he got credited with a try assist on the Hurrell try as well.
Don't think you can give him that, surely.
I don't think he really created very much on it, but
he passed the ball to Hurrell, but the rest of it was all Hurrell.
I thought Siranen was very strong. Again, didn't seem to take as many heads off as you might expect. And then you saw the consistency you see from a lot of other guys as well. But I think those sort of 4 or 5 names are the ones that I'd pick out as the front runners. But Lomax, for me, was the best player on the pitch.
Yeah, I think Lomax. I think Wellsby had a very strong game, and Lees had a very strong game. But Lomax was I think clearly the man of the match, and he's saved his best couple of performances for the back end of the season, and done a terrific job. I hope he's fit to play for England, but we'll see.
I think he could play for England if he wants to play for England. I don't think he wants to play for England, was the feeling I got in his interviews after the game. But that's his choice, isn't it?
No, I'm not sure that's right. I think he'll take the advice from the medical guys about what his recovery time is. I guess.
David, how many games has he missed? Did he miss any games?
Probably missed 2, I think.
After his injury, he missed 1 week, didn't he?
Yeah, I think about 1 or 2, I think.
Yeah.
Mark,
so he's clearly been able to manage this injury, so he could manage this injury for a World Cup tournament if he really wanted to. I'm not saying, look, I'm not fucking tough enough to do what he's done this year. I couldn't do what he's done physically, the way he's put himself through it with carrying such a clearly significant injury that he picked up earlier in the year. However, I'm just saying, if he really wanted to, he's shown that he can, and he can still perform at the highest level whilst doing that. I don't think he really wants to. If he doesn't play, it's because him and St Helens don't want him to, not because he couldn't put himself through it.
No, I think he could probably put himself through it, Mark. I think that's right. I think the question is what the recovery time is from the surgery. So, what is it? 6 months? I don't know. So how long will it take for him to get over the surgery is the big question, I think, for him, as to what happens next. And so does he need to have the surgery now, or is it something he can just carry on managing?
Well, does he need to have surgery?
Yeah, well, I believe it's torn bicep. So I think they were saying earlier in the year he was going to have surgery.
Right. Well, either way, there was no way of just resting it.
No.
Right.
So I think the surgery involved, and I think therefore the big question is how long is the recovery period? Yeah. What's the successor of the surgery, etc. And that'll be what tells him whether he can do it or not. I think
it's just something that I think I'm reacting to emotionally because it pisses me off because I think it really weakens England if we have. And this is a player who's never yet once performed on the international stage, but is so good. and he's been so good for St Helens, especially in that match that's just gone, that I'm really